Immediate program of action. Recruit, train and prepare a cabinet that can preside over the transition process, as a change management team, and eventually operate as the technocracy of the federal government, setting the stage. In his State of the Nation address, SONA, in 2016, President Rodrigo R. Duterte committed to supporting the federalism process. Charged with the duty of integrating, harmonizing and coordinating ongoing efforts towards federalism and constitutional reform, is the Interagency Task Force (IATF) on Federalism and Constitutional Reforms established in 2018 by President Duterte through Memorandum Circular No. 52. The IATF, which comprises 11 government agencies, leads the information dissemination initiatives of the government at the grassroots level, necessary to raise public awareness on federalism and constitutional reform. Looking ahead, as stated in the Transition Platform and Program of Action, each state would still need to have the means to recruit and retain high-quality public servants able to staff the multiple agencies of these new federal states. A critical question thus arises: is there a bureaucratic capacity to achieve this? If not, how might this capacity simultaneously be put in place, across so many new states? It is also important to ask what, currently, is the relative quality of the national versus local bureaucracies. According to old World Bank studies, the number of political spoils, therefore, jobs created as political rewards, at the local level is much higher than at the national level. One scheme encountered involves the division of a single public sector job into 24 different positions, thus rewarding each of 24 political supporters with 15 days of salary at public expense. Given that political spoils, or jobs for political supporters, are very much part of the landscape at the local level, there are very important issues of bureaucratic capacity that need to be addressed. One idea is to have prospective federal states correspond to the current regions to ensure foundational administrative capacity. If the Philippines were to go federal, consideration should be given to basing 17 newly created states on the currently existing 17 administrative regions, which are already established entities that are in many cases well grounded in salient regional identities. While this would by no means resolve the huge challenges of building effective administrative capacity in the federal states, it would at the least reduce the large shortfalls of capacity that would need to be addressed. Or maybe instead, might it be better to ensure that the national government play a more proactive role in nurturing the regional bureaucracy across the 17 administrative regions? The national government has the potential to uphold basic minimal standards across the regions, empower and fund the regional, laying the foundations for a problem-driven process of political reform, by creating development councils, and make the regions work to support local autonomy, as they are the critical nexus between the national government and the local government units. However, it makes sense to strengthen the regions, for the shift to federalism. If federalism pushes through, it will be critical to have stronger states as a foundation, so it has to begin now, working with the national government agencies already deconcentrated to the regional level, and complement this with strengthening the regional development councils. This would give much more integrity to the regional planning process, enabling them to become less dependent on the whims of Central Manila. We are not lacking with good policies, nor are we lacking with good leaders. What we lack is a good mechanism that could allow effective implementation of good policies. What we lack is a good mechanism that will choose not only good leaders, but also the right leaders and keep them as good and right while they are in office. What we lack is the institutional mechanism that puts together a system that sanctions the choosing and keeping of the right leaders and the important contingent of effective formulation and implementation of good measures. The objective of recruiting highly effective managers is to re-engineer public institutions in the country. Re-engineering public institutions includes both the political and administrative, therefore, governmental, mechanisms. The federalism project is not only about autonomy, not even the rather simplistic premise of giving more funds to the regions and local governments. It should fundamentally address the main problem of patronage politics, and put in place a more effective mechanism that could at the minimum manage the distortion in society, caused by the dominance of the elites in both politics and the economy. More than redefining the vertical relationship between the different levels of government, and instituting the basic principle of subsidiarity, the approach should be more comprehensive to include the political, electoral, and political party system. The bureaucracy, the civil service, and the judiciary should be strengthened, and made more independent from partisanship, while the economy should allow real competition. Human resources are as important as funding resources. Competent people are needed for the mandates to be properly implemented. The infrastructure for human capital in most regions is weak. For example, in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, even if institutions were set up, there was a lack of mentoring for the bureaucracy, which stays put regardless of which political party gets the vote. The way bureaucracy is ran, it does not have enough effective and efficient bureaucrats. The level management is very weak. A suggestion to strengthen bureaucracy is to have the federal, central authority do a mentoring program that would oversee the middle-level bureaucrats, so even if there is a change in administration, their careers would remain effective. The National Economic and Development Authority (NEDA) underscored the importance of a transition period to prepare the Philippines for a shift to a federal system of government. NEDA supports the creation of a Federal Transition Commission, to continue to conduct a genuine and comprehensive evaluation of the readiness of the regions and facilitate a transition towards federalism, NEDA Under-Secretary Adoratun Navarro said in a forum in Quezon City. Navarro said the transition period should consist of phases, since not all regions are as ready to shift to federalism as others. We think that regions may need more time before any shift or change to a form of government takes place, she added. Navarro added that the present government should comprehensively study regional socio-economic profiles and craft laws, regulations, and policies. Accompanying this shift to federalism should be proper and extensive studies on the requirement for such effort to be successful. Such shift in government should not be rushed and we should allow sufficient time to prepare the economy, Navarro said. She also said the Federal Transition Commission should rationalize government structures and functions, prepare the regions, and educate the public through information drives. Navarro added that the need for a transitional government, where a transition president and vice president will be elected in tandem, to prepare bureaucracy. Select pilot regions should also be identified to measure the region's readiness, she said, adding that pilot regions must be the more developed ones. She said the transition government should ratify the amended constitution for full transition. Former Chief Justice Renato Puno, chairman of the Consultative Committee, CONCOM, tasked to draft the federal constitution, welcomed the NEDA executive's remark. The Federal Transition Commission, FTC, is a body that will formulate and adopt a transition plan for the orderly shift to the new system of government, as provided for in the new constitution, Puno said. It will also organize, reorganize, and fully establish the federal government and the governments of the federated regions in accordance with the constitution.
Para po makatulong kami sa mga tulad ho ninyo na magkaroon po ng mas malawak na awareness ang mga pipili po sa Mayo 9. Attorney, yung mga sinasabi ho ninyong plano at kagandahan sa inyo pong gustong gawing reforma sa sistema po ng ating gobyerno at kung paano ito ipapatupad agad-agad kung kayo po'y mananalo, napakadalisay po kung pakikinggan po natin.
Una po sa lahat, gusto ko, for the record, I'd like to say na itong advokasya pong ito, hindi nagsimula lamang sa administrasyon na ito. Makikita nyo, 50 taon na humahigit yan. Ang magagawa po dito ay ang pagpapatuloy ng pagpapalakas po ng kapangyarihan ng taong bayan. Kasi ang dapat pong mangyari, mayroong sasakyang totoo ang taong bayan na ang dinadala na ideya at filosofiya ay ang ideya at filosofiya na hango po sa kanilang kapakinabangan at para po sa pagtataguyod talaga ng paglilingkod sa kanila.
Yun lang pong ating katanungan nga, paano natin lalabanan na masugpo matapos nga itong dinastiya. Sige po, sir.
Ang tanging magagawin po natin para mabuwag yan, meron kang malinaw na ideya, meron kang malinaw na politika, meron kang malinaw na organisasyon na magiging sasakyan ng mga kababayan mo. As the leader, kailangan mo ituro sa kanila yung daan.